everyone. Welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie Sanmartin and myself, Orly Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. Dottie, today is Thursday. As always, the Seeds of Success podcast, comes out every Thursday, occasionally a Friday if something comes up. But, and as much as I love doing the shows, as much as I love working with you, I'm excited. I'm taking a little bit of PTO tomorrow, and I'm super pumped about it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, first of all, just knowing that the weekend is just around the corner, that's good, right?
Yeah.
Well, what plans do you have?
Well, first off, I'm going to spend a little time with the kids just because they're on summer break, and I know they keep themselves busy when they're upstairs or down here with me, but then I'm sure, hanging out with them a little bit more and a little bit of time with them is going to be fun for them and me. And then we have a baseball tournament, so I got to get ready for that. So this way I'm not rushing out the door last minute, forgetting to say bye to you or something. Sometimes I just rush off and you're like, bye. And I'm like, sorry about that. I had to go to a game or I had to do this. So it won't be as crazy as a day tomorrow, taking a little bit of time off.
Well, that's good. Yes. Time away is always good for people. Orly, we have shared on previous episodes that I'm one of those that I get up in the morning, I have my Starbucks, and I'm one of those geeky people that love, I subscribe to so many emails that are either inspirational for productivity, for growth, for marketing, for trends, things along those lines. Those are very important to me. And I get a lot of joy out of reading my emails in the morning, or even a lot of times I'll take a really quick LinkedIn learning course or something like that. I'm one of those geeky people like that, but I love doing it, and it really is energizing. It's a great way for me to start my day. Well, this morning, it's funny that you say that you've got PTO scheduled tomorrow. This morning, there was a headline in my inbox that, boy, it struck a nerve with me. And it was, make time for joy in your busy schedule or in your busy life. And I'm like, ooh, wow. That hits home.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I get very wrapped up. I get busy with my professional life, and the things that I need to achieve for that. And I also have some other responsibilities that I manage. And a lot of times I forget that I need to make room for joy. Mm-hmm. Joy is important, right? Joy is what keeps us going. Joy is what keeps our mind clear and happy. And, there's so much to be said about finding joy. But I almost feel like you need to schedule it, right? You need to be mindful of it, because we all get so wrapped up in what we're doing. And especially, you have your goals, you have your deadlines, you have all of this stuff that you're juggling. And it's super easy to say, I'll find it later. I'll take some me time later. I will get to that joy later. But it's really important for us to do it. And we can do it in a lot of different ways. Spending time with others is a great way to find a little bit of joy. And you are doing that tomorrow. And so that's excellent. I think, during COVID, we were looking for where are we going to go to find joy, and family became super important. And we've kind of drifted away from knowing that spending that quality time with family brings so much joy and warmth to our lives.
Yeah. And sometimes, sometimes you want to take some time off from work, or that you need to, because maybe your manager's saying, hey, you need to use some of your hours, or, and you want that time. And it's not that, and people love their jobs, and sometimes it's just not about that. Sometimes you just know, but if I'm gone for a couple of days, somebody else isn't going to do this for me, or somebody else isn't going to be able to fill in to do what I do. Or if somebody is filling in for you, are they going to do it right? You know what I mean? So you think like, I'll just take time later, even though you need it, you have it, but you're just like, this just isn't the time. But if you keep saying that, when is the right time? It's, you have to eventually just say, okay, it's time to do it. What do people call it? Me time? You need some me time.
I need some me time. I need time for my joy. That's going to be my new thing. I got to find time for joy, and the other thing is choose something that's passive, that's active over, a passive pursuit. So what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of times I grab my phone and I start going through social media. These, a lot of times these actually have the opposite. A lot of times, yes, can you find joy in that when you scroll across and you see that there's a friend and they've done this, or you see something funny, haha. But choose an activity that, your hobby or something that's important to you. Me, my getaway, my joy is to be able to go outside and work in my garden. That's something that I thoroughly enjoy. If you have a hobby, use something that's an active, that you can participate yourself in. Like I said, gardening is for me. Some people love to exercise.
Yeah. Yeah, I recently mentioned about riding my bike. That kind of just clears your mind. I'm on the trail. It's quiet, a little bit of music playing. I stop and randomly take some pictures. My family probably wondering what's taking me so long on my bike ride, but I'm just like, oh, this looks cool. Or look at the water here, or look at this. Yeah. So that stuff just kind of relaxes you, clears your mind, and, just gives you energy to start your day. Or, if it's a big, yeah.
Prioritize those activities and find something that's energetic for you. And I'm the same way. When I go out and do my gardening, guess what? My phone's in my back pocket, but I'm not on social media. What am I doing? I'm taking pictures of, oh my gosh, that bloomed and that bloomed. And oh my, Oreo is over there, on his back with his paws up in the air looking silly. That for me is joy, because then I get to share those pictures. And that's fun. So yeah, be selective on where you go to find that, find your passion, find something that you can actually go out and participate in and that you're enjoying. So the other thing I want to say is sometimes, Orly, joy can be in no activities.
Yeah.
Joy can be in just finding a few moments of silence.
Yeah.
For me, that can be just as energizing sometimes as going out and working in my yard, or going and visiting with a friend that I haven't seen in a long time. I can also find joy in nothing, in doing.
Yeah, I've heard somebody talk about that before, about sitting there and doing, and they were saying it's hard for people. It's hard for someone just to sit there and not do anything for 5 minutes. No talking, no, not being on your phone, just sitting there 5 minutes and just relaxing for 5 minutes, just in a quiet room.
Yes. And you know what? It's also important from a work-life balance for us to protect our free time. So have boundaries. So if, make sure that you are not going to your phone at 9:00 at night or 10:00 at night. And I'm just going to answer that one email before I go to bed, or I'm just going to check out this one thing for work before I go to bed. Respect your leisure time. Make sure that you are setting those boundaries and you are giving yourself time that you can find that joy. And you know what? That also has a part of your workday as well, right? We've talked about this before, Orly. Even you and I, our day, we have to build in time to think.
Yeah.
And listeners, whatever business you are in, it's very important to make sure that you are carving out some of your day, that there's no interruptions for you, and you're able to think. You need to think, here we are in the middle of June. How has my first half of the year gone? Did I accomplish what I needed to do? What can I do differently for the second half of this year? So, having that dedicated time to think in your business can also bring you joy.
Yeah.
But that's also just an essential part of your operations. You should be carving out time in your business. So just like it's important to find your joy, carve out some time to just chill, if you will, do the same thing in your work. as do your employees,
Yeah, I was just going to say that, you're talking about taking time for yourself, taking time to relax, taking time to just kind of calm down. Don't forget about your employees. If you're not doing it for yourself, you might not be doing it for your employees. Might not be telling them, hey, take a day off this week, or, you worked all week and after this crazy event we had, take Monday off, or, cause that, you got to think about it. If you're have all this, all this craziness built up from not taking time off and not relaxing a little bit, you can't have everybody in your business doing that. You got to make sure they're getting some time too.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps people happier that way, right? Yeah. It definitely does. So we don't want nobody should dread going into work.
Exactly.
So I when I saw this morning, I'm like, this will be a nice way to spend my Starbucks coffee this morning. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am super, super guilty of not following the things that this particular article was talking about to make the time for joy. I don't do that. And I am going to do a much better job of doing this in the future, because it's important for my personal well-being. And it's also, it overflows onto my family. I can, I'll be able to be more present for my colleagues, and it's just all around the right thing to do. So I was so grateful for this email this morning. I thought that it would be nice to share this, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners get really caught up in what they're doing. And you know what, folks, life is short, and to be able to find joy, you deserve that. You deserve to find all the joy that you can in your life. And so, hopefully,
I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to send a message to your husband and say, hey, whenever Dottie starts to get grumpy, let me know. And I'll be like, Dottie, take some time off. You're getting a little crazy. You need to relax.
You can certainly do that. Absolutely. You can certainly do that. Well, listeners, thank you so much. It is always Orly and I's pleasure to present these episodes with you. We really thank you for letting us be a part of your day. With decades of industry experience, we're honored to share those ideas, tips, strategies, and just things to help you keep thriving and growing in both your life and in your business. Together, we're planting seeds for a stronger, more successful future. Share this podcast with your team and industry friends. We'd love for you to give us a subscribe, a like, communicate with us, leave us comments if you'd like. Remember that the more seeds we sow, the greater the harvest. Until next time, let's continue to build success, one happy guest and one incredible experience at a time.